These are all banned games, shut down by Nintendo that you are not supposed to play. One of these got people put in prison. Others had the developers almost sued for a lot of money. So I decided to play a bunch of these games to see if they deserve to be banned, based on how original they feel to me. Let's start with Mario's No Sky. Made by fans for a video game coding competition built in 3 days by 4 dudes that took Super Mario's side-scrolling platforming and No Man's Sky's Infinite Planet generation and made this, Mario in a Spaceship. Released for free on itch.io in 2016, it got over 100,000 downloads in a week, until Nintendo set a DMCA threatening to sue over copyright, shutting down this game forever. And getting into it, I didn't know what to expect, but it immediately felt like Mario but with way more floaty controls, and horrific looking alien Goomba I will see in my nightmares. As I explored this Mario themed level, I ran into a jacked Toad that informed me that pressing X spawns my spaceship out of thin air that I can use to fly in space to different planets. For a game made in 3 days, this is actually kind of insane. Nintendo, I see why you banned it, but I don't know if I agree. It's an original, built from scratch game that's definitely inspired by Mario, but as I explored some of the other diverse looking planets with freaky Goomba frolicking around and question blocks filled with green life mushrooms, it confirmed to me that this free-to-play 30 minutes of fun game didn't deserve to be banned. If you guys want to support the creators, they slightly changed things and renamed the game to DMCA Sky, which is hilarious and has a comment section filled with people bashing Nintendo. Let's move on to the next game that hurt Nintendo's feelings even more. Zelda's 30th Anniversary Tribute, developed in 2016 as a present for Zelda's 30th birthday, made by 2 mega fans that decided to take the classic 1986 2D Legend of Zelda and make it into a revolutionary 3D experience. And it went viral, getting 500,000 downloads in less than 3 days. Nintendo then noticed and decided to ruin all the fun, threatening the creators nicely to shut it down. I can't tell you guys where I got this game from because Nintendo will make me disappear, but I did have to run some suspicious code, so my computer may have viruses now. And this game is an exact copy of the original, but arguably better in my opinion, with all the annoying enemies shooting their projectiles at light speed, ruining my ability to spam my sword beam ability that requires full health. There was also the iconic soundtracks that tickled my eardrums. And the best part, no guides, so you can aimlessly walk around the game for hours wasting your life. Instead of that, I used an online guide and explored some of the early dungeons, which looked really good, with all the scary enemies like these red knights that are invincible in the front, making things super intense when there's a bunch of them in a small room and you gotta make pinpoint accurate movements on a keyboard, and of course the wonderful puzzles that give you 0 hints of what to do. This was really fun, but the game has some big issues. First, the creators purposely only made part of the original game, which made me very sad because I beat it in 30 minutes. And I also have to decide if it deserves to be banned. And based on my criteria of how original do these games feel to me, this is a one-to-one clone that used a Nintendo game and made it 3D. Although it was free and came out 30 years after the game it was based on. But unfortunately, I think I have to side with Nintendo and agree that this game deserves to be banned. Wow, that really hurt my soul. And the next game up is even worse. Crazy Kong, the Donkey Kong clone that resulted in people getting jail time. Made in 1981, it's an alternate version of the legendary arcade game licensed by Nintendo, made to keep up with the unexpected popularity of the game at the time in Japan, looking very similar to the original with a few differences. The creators, Falcon, got a little too greedy and started selling this game worldwide behind Nintendo's back, forcing Nintendo to end their partnership and sue them for damages, leading to 7 years of trial where of course Nintendo won, apparently getting paid 190 million yen, which nowadays would equal to a few $1,000,000. Even with all this going on, Falcon still decided to make a secret game called Crazy Kong Jr., which got their CEO charged with 2 to 3 months of jail time. That's it. And getting into the gameplay, it felt exactly like the original Donkey Kong, which I can't remember the last time I played. Brutally difficult, strangely colored levels, especially at the start when I had no idea what I was doing. Saving my girl as Mario from a giant mutant gorilla, throwing barrels at me while flames of eyeballs chase me around. I actually kind of forgot you need pixel perfect accuracy to even beat this game. Like with the third level, which requires parkour and standing in a specific spot to avoid a spring from demolishing you. And let's get straight to it. Crazy Kong deserved to be banned, easily. And it's probably the reason why Nintendo is so sensitive when someone uses their games in any shape or form. Let's now move on to a fan project made by one of my favorite YouTubers. Super Mario 64 Last Impact is a massive ROM hack made by one solo dev, MacLeod, spending over 4,000 hours turning SM64 into a brand new game. Released in 2016, it blew up on YouTube with millions of views. But Nintendo didn't act immediately until a year later when he made SM64 Online, a mod that adds multiplayer to Super Mario 64 on the PC. And Nintendo hated it so much they went after every single download link and video made, shutting them down, including the banned game I'm playing. It immediately started giving me a nostalgic feeling, as it plays exactly like Super Mario 64, which I haven't touched since I was a child. Those were some good memories. But this experience was way more chaotic. Instead of jumping into paintings, the levels are in their own little areas. The first one I explored was in a green pipe surrounded by stone faces, throwing me into a jungle-themed snake temple area that, by completing missions like destroying spiked balls, using Super Mario Sunshine's water device to clean mud spots, or fighting a giant floating stone snake with wings, provided me a very random but fun time doing all sorts of things to collect stars. This fan-made game feels like a DLC. There were so many levels and many of them felt like they could have been in the original game. Some were chill, like me chasing a blue monkey around for 30 minutes until I searched up speedrunner tricks and learned how to speed boost, or taking a rocket ship to the literal moon and fighting alien Goombas. The developer truly pushed the limits of what I thought was possible in Super Mario 64. My 4 hours of gameplay barely scratched the surface of this game, but in this video we're here to decide if it deserved to be banned. And I'm very conflicted. On one hand, this uses a Nintendo game and it's not very original. On the other hand, it's so transformative, it feels like its own thing. And it literally released 16 years after the original. So I'm saying, no Nintendo, it didn't deserve to be banned by you. Shout out to MacLeod, one of my favorite YouTubers right now, and he keeps making mods and games that get taken down by Nintendo. But now it's time for the most controversial game of the video. Pokemon Uranium, a fan-made game built over the course of 9 years by two main developers, making a Pokemon-inspired PC game with a new region, new creatures, and a darker story. Released for free in 2016 during Pokemon's 20th anniversary and the peak popularity of Pokemon Go. It exploded, going viral online to this day, getting 1.5 million downloads in a week. That was instantly halted when Nintendo sent their lawyers to DMCA everyone and everything, wiping this game from the internet, which worked for a little bit until people re-uploaded the game because the internet's undefeated. It starts off like a typical Pokemon game. Crazy looking creature on the title screen, a professor telling me how to play the game, and me picking my character. Then I get hit with lore about how my father is a genius Pokemon ranger and my mother is a nuclear scientist that gets trapped in a nuclear plant meltdown and disappears forever, causing my father to abandon me for his work, and I get sent to live with my aunt. Holy goodness. And when I could actually move in game, it felt exactly like Pokemon. I met my annoying rival, went to the professor, and got to pick my starter, which everyone knows the best one is the fire one, facing my rival and destroying him in 1v1 combat, causing him to literally cry. Damn Nintendo, I see why you banned this, it's too good. If I were them, I would have hired these developers easily, because as I made my way further in game and encountered various Pokemon and trainers, it was shocking how good and authentic everything felt, even though it's completely fan-made. My early playthrough consisted of me leveling up and finding cool Pokemon to capture, like this cute looking pink caterpillar bear called Cupbug, or this fish with a massive brain growing out of its skull. I also kind of forgot how tough Pokemon is, especially in the beginning. Evolving my team into cooler looking creatures and defeating gyms is a grind not made for the weak. And then everything changed about 4 hours in, in when the story started to pick up, and on my way to the 3rd gym leader, I ran into my father who abandoned me. We had an awkward conversation. I literally felt it through the screen, and the best part is when he cut the conversation short to send me on a mission to deliver his letter to the newly built nuclear plant in the exact location where my mother disappeared. Truly the father of the year, wow. So I did that and encountered the new nuclear type Pokemon added in the game, and it looks so insane I had to capture a bunch, including a super powerful one I tested in battles. The way this type works is that all nuclear attacks are super effective, which makes sense, it's literal radiation, but also all attacks to you are super effective, so you're a glass cannon. After facing the 3rd gym and demolishing it with pure radiation and spending 6 hours in game, I stopped before I got too addicted. I had a full team and everything. I was ready to beat this entire game. Let's talk about if it deserved to be banned. According to Nintendo, yes. According to me, I don't blame them. Pokemon Uranium is amazing. They put in 9 years of work, released it for free, and it's not an exact copy of another game. So my pick may be controversial, but I'm gonna say it doesn't deserve to be banned. I'm curious what you guys think about my ban decisions on each game. Let me know in the comments. And thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.